Questions for Coach?
Well, Donnie, what concerns you what concerns you the most about Michigan, if you could pinpoint one thing looking at their defense?
Their players. They got really good players. You know, defensively, I think they give up 16 points a game last year. Now, that was last year's team, I get that, but they got most of them returning. They did lose some players, but, you know, programs like that, they just reload. I think they've lost, 3 games in 2 years or something like that. So they're used to winning. They're used to having success. That means that they're recruiting well, and they just have outstanding talent. I mean, they don't do anything that's so wow. You know, what scheme is that? They have good schemes. You know, Coach Mentor does a great job. He's got NFL experience. He's got a lot of NFL stuff in, but you know, that's not what worries you. What worries you is their defensive line can just explode off the ball and just throw the offensive lineman down and go make the tackle. And then there's like 4 other guys there when they make the tackle as well. They do a nice job with the interceptions. A lot of tip balls. I tell you what, you better not tip the ball, you know, as a receiver, because they do a great job of breaking on the ball and getting the turnovers and setting the offense up, you know, for success. So a lot of concerns. Yeah, a lot of concerns. Really a lot of respect for them.
Right here, Coach.
You're looking for any edge you can get here. Is one of them that they haven't seen a lot of Mason Garcia, Alex Flynn, and this East Carolina offense in particular on film?
Well, they haven't, you know, and so that, I guess that's something maybe they're trying to research. You know, I don't know that that's a positive for us. That means our guys haven't been playing very much. You know, it's probably better to have experience like that. But, you know, we're looking for every way you can. We're looking for any kind of advantage. And, you know, you go in with a plan. That may hold true. The thing about first games, it's always a little crazy anyhow. You're kind of sparring at the beginning, trying to figure out, you know, is that the same team? Like I say, we opened up North Carolina State last year, and they had been a great defense the year before. We were expecting a really good defense, which they turned out to be. But you're still getting in there trying to figure out, have they stayed with the same scheme? Have they put in new things? Have they moved people around? And usually they have, and they had, and I'm sure Michigan will have some new things for us as well like that. So I think our guys will be excited. You know, I think that's maybe an edge. I don't know how, I mean, they'll be excited to play. They're probably not, their fans are probably not thinking, wow, we're playing East Carolina. You know, whereas our fans and our players are here and, hey, y'all are going to play Michigan. This is pretty cool. So if anything, hopefully we'll be excited. Maybe we'll be more excited than them if that's possible.
Coach, we tried to get out of Coach Houston who's going to play and who's going to be here and there, and we didn't really succeed in that. So
wow, y'all are not very good at this. So what was that?
How does the offense change based on your personnel?
You know, the thing about, I know the depth chart things out there, and of course Michigan's not been giving out one, I guess, for years. You know, that's a hardball thing, and I know, you know, once Lord Saban comes out with something like that, then it's going to become a rule, I guess, probably, that you don't do depth charts, you know, like that. So, but the game has changed so much anyhow, because everybody's personnel and things now. It looks like a hockey game out there anyhow. You know, there's side changes or whatever that thing is. So, you know, we have 10 personnel, you have 11 personnel, you have 13 personnel, you know, you have 20 personnel. But now even you have 11 Jari. You know, and you have 11 juice, and you have, okay, I want this personnel, but I want this player in, make sure, you know, or I want to play these 2 guys, though they may be listed at the same position, because, you know, you're a guard, you're a forward, you're a center, you know, you're an infielder, whatever you are now. It's getting more like that. You're a mid infielder, you know what I'm saying, or you're a pitcher, but you may start, you may not start. Everybody's doing multiple things. The game has got a lot more open, a lot more basketball-like, you know, like that. A lot of guys can bring the ball down the court now, you know what I'm saying? So it really is kind of hard to make a depth chart out, because you don't know who really deserves to be like the starter, I guess. And I know that's a big deal. It was a big deal to me, you know, when I was playing. It was a big deal to your mom, I guess, probably more than you are, like that. But now you'd say, well, who's starting the game? At a lot of positions, you'd say, well, where's the ball? What's the score? You know, do we have it on the -3? You know what I'm saying? Are we starting coming out? Well, that means we're going to be in a different personnel, because you got a game plan that. did we run the kickoff back across midfield? Okay, now we're in a sudden change. Okay, the coordinator, he might be going to blitz more in that situation. All right, we're in this person. So it's getting like that. Now, the quarterback thing, probably not quite to that extent. What I think, coach is kind of saying is, we know what we're going to do, and you guys know what we're going to do. We really are prepared to play 3 quarterbacks. And in a game like this, I'm not saying this is a game it doesn't matter, but I'm pretty sure John Gilbert got the money up front. Okay, I hope he did anyhow. I'm sure he got the money. Okay, so we can let this thing roll. You know what I'm saying? We can go play to win, which we're always going to play to win the game. But you'd be crazy not to, if you had a chance to do something, play another guy. I mean, who knows? Why can't you play 2 quarterbacks in the same thing? Yeah, why not? You know what I'm saying? If there's a play that would be cool to do, this is the time to do it. I don't know if it's time to do it when you're playing for the conference championship or the home opener, but this is the time to go do that.
We're here, Coach.
Last week you said you were going to get with, I guess, Coach Mogridge and kind of narrow down that offensive line. How's that gone the last week? And you found a 5 you're comfortable with?
I think we've probably separated up front that who's going to play the majority. Coach Mogridge is from the school, and I am too, that we'd like to play more offensive linemen. In the past 4 years since we've been here, it's been, do we have 5 today? You know what I'm saying? I still remember being at Navy, and we're coming out for the kickoff, and they're saying, hey, by the way, Noah's out. I said, he's out where? And he's out of the game. We're like, what are we going to do now? We have nobody else. You know what I'm saying? We have to move the left guard over to right tackle or something like that. We have good depth now as far as numbers. The strength of our offense probably, and I've said this before, may not be, and we got some name guys. We don't have Hope Mailers, okay, who everybody knows about seeing. We don't have the little dude that ran all over everybody again, too. We don't have some of those names. We don't have CJ. But we've got a lot of different guys, you know what I'm saying? So if one guy's not on that day, we have more options, you know what I'm saying? Now, eventually, I hope somebody starts to separate and becomes a star, like, Isaiah did, you know what I'm saying, like CJ did, like Ryan Jones did. But right now, it's more, we got a bunch of guys, but we got more guys, so with practice right now, we're playing more guys. We're working more guys. I hope that keeps us fresher, too, throughout the year. That could be the other advantage. Maybe not necessarily in this game. They're pretty deep, I think. But I think throughout the season it could be.
Going off that, it's part of it, too, at this point. Y'all just have to get out there and almost see who's going to step up in a game situation and kind of ride the hot hand.
That's the whole nerve-wracking part. But I guess in a way it's kind of the fun part, too, like I say. It's more fun when you come down and you get that extra Christmas present you didn't know you're getting. So, we're out there practicing and guys are doing good and quarterbacks are looking good, but I'm thinking like, okay, when we do that in a game, it counts. You know what I'm saying? Batting practice is one thing, hitting one out. And hit one out in a game, that's a little bit different. So the good players usually come to the top. The bigger the situation, the bigger the game. You know what I'm saying? But we're getting ready to find out because we're going to get tested just like we did last year, though. I mean, North Carolina State proved to be one of the best defenses in the country, throughout the season. And that was after they lost their quarterback. They didn't do much offensively either. They still kept putting people down. So we'll have another tough challenge like that. We'd love to be playing at home. You know what I'm saying? I wish we were playing here. We're playing up there. But again, I don't know. Maybe that's going to be a better thing. It'll be fun.
Coach, obviously this receiver group is kind of limited in game experience and there's a lot of new young guys. So as a coordinator, how do you prioritize kind of getting them the experience with the route trees and what they need to do game plan wise while also preparing them for a big opponent?
Well, that's what the meetings are for. That's what the practices are for. We try to, and because you've been there, you really do know how competitive the practices are. And I've said this to some of my friends around the country, and they look at me like I'm crazy. I say, I'm a lot more nervous sometimes on Wednesday when we're going to go against our defense on third down because it's like brother on brother. You got to live with that then the next week who won the third down competition. You know what I'm saying? In the game, they fly their way, we go our way. You don't ever see half of those guys again. So the practices being so competitive, I think they'll get guys ready for the game because everybody's in game mode out there. You know what I'm saying? And smack talking's going on. You know how that is. So I think that's it. And I just think that, we just practice a lot. You know, we really do. We get a lot of reps. And like I say, there's a lot of talent in the receiver group. It'll be now who's game ready. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I wish they did.
Back here, then one here.
Coach, maybe not on the defensive side, but the offensive side, this gigantic stadium and crowd plays a big role. And, you know, you've been in some of those environments. Coach mentioned BYU earlier yesterday. How did you guys work on getting them ready to go into that?
Well, you're right. I think that does affect, obviously, the offense more than it does your defense. You know, a program like Michigan, the crowd's pretty educated. They're pretty football savvy. You know, they know when their guys are out there on offense that you don't want it to be so loud that you can't communicate. And then when the defense is out there, they're gonna ring their bell, whatever they've got, and they're gonna try to get the crowd noise going. We're kind of prepared for that anyhow. We are kind of a silent count, but we play this hair band music like throughout practice. Any of you been out there? I mean, it's like 1973 out there. Okay, so Bon Jovi's always blaring. Okay, you know. And you can't hardly coach anyhow. Like Joe will tell you, we go to inside run or team run, and they can't hardly hear me calling the play anyhow. So you got hand signals and you got all that. So it can't be any louder than it is when we got that music cranked up out there for the players. So, you know, that I think that's probably, we feel pretty comfortable doing that.
You went for it quite a bit on fourth down. We're pretty good on that last year. And you said you might throw everything you got at it this week. Is that easier to do when you have Holton and Keaton and Isaiah and CJ, or can you still stay aggressive on fourth down?
Yeah, you know, the fourth down thing is become a big deal. And I think the analytics, you know, have crept into football the last couple of years, and that's probably where it really started to get into the coaches' heads about, well, you know, if you had 4 downs to get 10 yards, this game would be a lot different, you know, if you would take that mode. And then looking at, well, if you punt from the 38 and he punts it in the end zone, they get it on the 20, you know, your best chance to win. And because it's in writing and it's been proven, you know, with math, okay, if you go for it here and you make it, you increase your chance to win this game. And I think that was a big part of getting coach to say, because, you know, coming from a defense side of the ball, they're like, let's punt them in the hole. Let's keep them down there in the hole, and we'll stop them, and you'll get it back in better field position. And so he kind of came around that way. It changes the deal because it really makes the way you call third down like it's second down if you take that mode. Now, a lot of that's affected by your field goal kicker. What's his range? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if he's got long range, obviously you're going to kick some field goals. If not, you're going to go for it a little bit more. So I think we're going to be in that mode anyhow. Now, it's always dictated by what's the score of the game, okay, how much time's left, and then really what type of a game it is, because, you know, when you've been in this business, you know, and y'all been around it enough and seen enough games, there are some games you go out, you may think, wow, this is going to be a low-scoring game. You go like, dang, what happened? You know, everybody started going for it. Everybody let it go. I don't know, it turns into a shootout. But then there's other times you think, wow, the line says this is going to be a high-scoring game, and the defense is dictating. Sometimes it's weather, you know, a little bit. So it kind of, you know, coach gets a good feel. He's got good instincts. I think one of his number one reasons for success is he has good instincts. And he knows when to go for a fake punt. You know what I'm saying? He knows when to call the fake field goal. I think he knows when to go for it on fourth. I think he knows our defense is in good shape right now. We could take a little chance here, and if they get it at the 35, they're probably still going to be okay. We don't have to punt them in the hole, or vice versa. Or, hey, you know, today don't look like that kind of day. You know what I'm saying? It looks like you better maybe punt them in the hole. And that's why he makes the big bucks, so he has to make that decision. I just have a play ready. That's the way we have an agreement. I'm going to call a play, and he's going to say no, okay? But if you wait, time will run out, you know what I'm saying? So even like in 2-minute offense, I'll be calling plays, and he might be saying, no, we're calling timeout. But, you know, I can't wait to say, are you going to call timeout here, or am I going to call a play? Because you've wasted 5 seconds. So I'll always have a list of fourth down plays ready to go. I'll always want to go because I don't feel like I got as much to lose probably. Now, I'm not sure Blake's not giving me a little evil eye over there sometimes, but I think it all balances itself out.